In this lesson, we will be looking at graphing linear equations using their intercepts. So, a linear equation normally has two intercepts unless it's a special kind of a line, which we will talk about later in the lesson. But normally a linear equation has two intercepts, an x-intercept and a y-intercept. An x-intercept is the place where a line crosses the x-axis. And on this particular line, that would be this spot down here is the x-intercept. Notice that when it crosses the x-axis, that line, if you were to come up with a coordinate for this point, that spot right there is so far to the right in this case, but it's not up or down at all. And so your y value is 0, and that will always be the case for the x-intercept. The y value will always be 0. And that's why if you want to find the x-intercept, what you do is you plug in 0 for y. Similarly, the y-intercept, which is this spot up here, to get to that coordinate right there, you don't move left or right at all. And so because you don't move left or right, the x-coordinate at that spot will be 0, and that is happening every single time. And so to find the y-intercept, what you do is you plug in 0 for x. So it's opposite of what you think. You plug 0 into the opposite of variable in order to find the x and the y-intercept. Okay? So that's what we're going to do in these equations here. All right, so here's our first equation. Again, I know it's linear because it has no more than two variables. The variables are not multiplied together. There's no variables in the denominator, and I have no exponents here. This one happens to be in standard form also, ax plus by equals c. It doesn't need to be in standard form though. All right, so our first thing that we are going to do is we are going to find our x-intercept. And again, to find in our x-intercept, what I will do is I will plug in 0 for y. Okay, so then I'll have this, 3x plus 2 times 0 equals 9, or 3x plus 0 equals 9. And you can show me less work than this. I just want you to see where this is coming from. Or 3x equals 9, divide by 3, x equals 3. Okay, now remember I plugged in 0 for y. So when I make my coordinate down here, my y will automatically be 0, and my x value is 3 for my x-intercept. So my x-intercept is 3, 0. To find my y-intercept, I will plug 0 in for x. So you always plug 0 into the opposite variable. Okay? When I do that, I have 3 times 0 plus 2y equals 9. 3 times 0 is just 0, so I don't need that there. And I have 2y equals 9, or y equals 9 halves. Okay? Again, I plugged in 0 for x, so when I do my y-intercept, my x-coordinate will be 0, and my y-intercept in this case is 9 halves. Now I want you to leave it as 9 halves here. However, when we go to graph it, you know that 9 divided by 2 is really 4.5. So that number is 4.5. So when you have to go to graph it, you're going to need to estimate where that is. Okay? So now I'm going to plot the point 3, 0, which will be right here. That's my x-intercept. And I will plot the point 0 and 9 halves. 9 halves is 4.5, so I will go 0 and then up 4.5, which would put me right there. And that would be my y-intercept. And now that's all I need to do. You only need 2 points to create a line. So now I will connect those dots. And there is my line using my intercepts to graph them. Okay, we'll do a couple more here just to make sure you're good. Here's another one, 4x plus 3y equals 12. Again, to find the x-intercept, I will plug in 0 for y. So I have 4x plus 3 times 0 equals 12. The 3 times 0 I don't need, it's just 0. So I have 4x equals 12, or when I divide both sides by 4, x equals 3. Okay, again, I plugged in 0 for y, so, but I got 3 for x. So my x-intercept would be 3, 0. To find my y-intercept, again, I will plug 0 in for x. Okay, and when I plug 0 in for x, then I have 4 times 0 plus 3y equals 12. 4 times 0 is just 0, so I don't need that. So I have 3y equals 12, divide by 3, and y equals 4. Now, my y-intercept itself is not y equals 4. The intercept itself is the coordinate 0, 4. Okay? So when I ask you for the y-intercept, I want the answer as a coordinate. I don't want you to tell me that the intercept is y equals 4. Okay? I want it written as a coordinate. All right, so now I will plot those 2 points. So 3, 0 on my x-intercept would be 3 to the right and not up or down at all. 0, 4 would be not left or right, but up 4. And there's my 2 intercepts, and I can connect those dots and make a line. All right, one more really quickly here. Again, to find the x-intercept, you will plug in 0 for y. So then I will have 0 equals 2x plus 4, subtract 4, negative 4 equals 2x, divide by 2, and x would be negative 2. Okay? Again, I do not want you to tell me that the x-intercept is negative 2. It's not. The x-intercept is the coordinate negative 2, 0. Okay? Y is 0 in this case. Then the y-intercept, of course, I am going to plug 0 in for x. So I will have y equals 2 times 0 plus 4. The 2 times 0 I don't need, so I just simply have y equals 4. And again, your y-intercept is not y equals 4. It is the coordinate 0, 4. Okay? Go ahead and plot those. So negative 2, 0 would look like this, and 0, 4 would be here. Go ahead and connect the dots to make your line. That got a little crooked, sorry. But that's what that would look like. All right, now this one is a little weird because it only has one variable in it. It is still linear because you can't have any more than 2 variables in it. It does not have exponents, it does not have radicals in the denominator, and it does not have variables that are multiplied together. So this is a linear equation. And what I need to do here now is think about this, okay? To find the x-intercept, what I would do is I would plug in 0 for y. So when I plug in 0 for y, this is what I get. 0 equals 3. Guess what? 0 does not equal 3. That is not a true statement. This is not true. Doesn't exist. And so basically, there is no x-intercept. Okay, there isn't an x-intercept. If I go to find the y-intercept, I have to plug in 0 for x. In order to plug in 0 for x, there is no spot for me to plug in 0 for x. Okay? This is one of those special situations that I told you I would talk about later. This is a special kind of line. There is no x-intercept in this case. There is a y-intercept, and the hint is this. Y equals 3. What that means is that this is going to cross the y-axis at 3. So it will cross the y-axis at 3. This is the y-axis. It will cross at 3. But there is no x-intercept, which means that the line you draw will never cross the x-axis. The only way it can never cross the x-axis is if it's a horizontal line. Okay? And I got to tell you this. Horizontal lines always have the equation y equals any number, whatever number it is. And that number will tell you where it crosses the y-axis. It will not cross the x-axis if it's a horizontal line. It will only cross the y-axis. Similarly, this only has an x in it. Okay? So, if I want to solve and find the y-intercept, over here I would plug 0 in for y, and I would get plug 0 in for x. And I would get 0 equals 5. not a true statement, so I know that there is no y-intercept. There is an x-intercept, and it's right here. It crosses the x-axis at 5. So here we go, it crosses the x-axis at 5. And there is no y-intercept. And the only way there will be no y-intercept is if it is a vertical line and it is parallel to that y-axis. The other thing you can think about to keep your x and your y in horizontal and vertical lines straight is this. Okay, in this equation, this number is x equals 5, right? If I were to think about making a t-table for this, it does not matter what number I pick for x. The absolute only number I can pick for x is 5. That is the only number I can pick. But, for instance, right here, I have the point 50. Right here, I have the point 51. Right here, I have the point 54. Right here, I have the point 5, -3. It doesn't matter what my y values are. My y values can go up and down all they want, but my x has to stay constant at 5. Okay, so that might be one way to help you keep vertical and horizontal lines straight. You can think about it the other way too with horizontal lines, and then your y has to stay constant and it doesn't matter what your x is. Okay, so hopefully this helps you